Welcome to Grace Over Grit and Growth, the podcast where we empower women to be who they are while being unapologetic.
Hello there, I'm Monique Fisher.
And I'm Alita Anderson.
And welcome to Gracefully Advocating.
Yes.
It's the episode that we're having. And as you see, we have a guest today.
Yes, we do.
So it is Mrs. Sherill Dodson-Lewis.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And Sherill is a retired social worker.
Mm-hmm. School
Social worker. She keeps
Yes.
telling me that's an important piece to say. School social
Yes,
worker.
because we need those.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we both had children in the school system. So
Yes.
we know that they're needed.
Yeah. very
So,
much.
Sherill, we're going to let you kick it off and just kind of tell us, what actually is the role of a social worker at school?
Okay. School social workers. First of all, the state of Illinois has school social workers in schools from preschool to high school.
Okay.
And the school social worker's role is to remove those barriers that students might have to learning by providing crisis management, counseling, behavioral supports,
Okay.
social emotional learning, and connecting their parents and families, their families and parents and families, or their families to community resources.
Okay, so it's outside of the four walls of the school.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the school social worker is a vital link to bridging or connecting the school, the family, and the community
Got
together.
Okay.
Got
All
it.
right. So you did that role for how long?
I was a school social worker for 20 plus years.
20 plus
Wow.
years.
What, were you always in the same grade level or did you move around?
Oh no. Okay, so one thing about school social workers,
Mhm.
right? School social workers in the state of Illinois are all master level social workers.
Okay.
You have to have your master's in order to work in the school.
Okay, so you're a little educated.
She'll get us,
A little bit.
she'll get us straight today.
We got to be on our P's.
I know, right?
Okay.
So you have to be a master's level social worker, right?
Okay.
And school social workers have we do a mental health component too. So that's
Okay.
really important too.
Yes.
When you're thinking about, because I'm sure people ask, where are you a school counselor? Are you a school
Mhm.
social worker?
Right.
The school counselor takes care of the academics, and the school social worker takes care of the mental health portions of the school for the students. Let me see. I was saying the state of Illinois has school social workers in schools from pre-K through high school. Then you
Wow.
asked me, was I at the same
Yes.
school?
Yes.
Okay, no. When I first started, I was at an elementary school and the high school,
Oh.
both of them together. So 2 days a week I would be at the elementary school, and then the next couple of days I would be at the high school.
Okay.
Okay.
Then the following year I was at the elementary school and the preschool.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I was full-time at the elementary school. And then another time I was full-time at the middle school.
Okay.
And then I also spent 2 years in an alternative setting within the
Mhm.
school district that I was in,
Okay.
which was wonderful. Yeah.
Okay. So how are you identified to need a social worker? So a school counselor, if they're helping with academics, if the
Mhm.
teachers see that there's a problem,
Mhm.
you can identify some of those things. But how are children identified to need your services?
Well, children are identified to need the school social worker services by their teachers,
Okay.
by their parents.
Okay.
Oh,
The parent shows up and say, my there's been a death in our family.
Mm.
My husband's sick.
Mhm.
okay.
Or I've noticed that my son is having some behavioral issues,
Mhm.
right? The teacher sees it in school. So-and-so isn't able to sit down, or they're up constantly, or they're having some behavioral issues or some things of that fact. And they contact the school social worker.
Right.
And the parent, as a parent, you have a right to say, I think that my child might need to see the school social worker.
Oh, now that I didn't know.
And that's nice to know that it's not something that's, because I think sometimes people think of it as not a punishment, but of something like, oh, you got moved here, instead of it actually being help, when it's actually the help to encompass, because it's a full life. So if you are suffering mentally or whatever it is, that's going to certainly affect your academics. So
Yes.
if they don't identify that, it's good to know they have those things in place.
And then a lot of times parents also think that the school social worker is just there for those students who have IEPs or receive
Yes.
That's what I
special
was gonna
education
say,
services.
yes.
Mhm.
And that's not true. Now, when the kids go through the special education services
Mhm.
and through different testing, they can, it can come out that they need social work for a specific area, for
Okay.
growth in a specific series,
Yeah.
a specific area that the school social worker will help them with.
Mhm.
See, and I thought that that was the only time that the services was used, if there was an individual education plan.
No,
Advised.
school social workers are available to every student in the school.
Wow.
And I didn't realize that until I think Bryce was like in 4th grade. And he had this particular teacher, and the teacher would always was sending stuff home, and she'd be like, he just refuses to listen. He refuses to sit down. He refuses. And I'm like, I'm not the parent that says my kid is 100% is going to always listen. But I was like, when you say refuses, like, give me the scenario. And I could never get the details around it from the teacher. So when I asked him, he would be like, I finished up my paper. I went to go throw away a tissue. And she was like, why are you throwing away the tissue? Sit down. He was like, let me do this first, this. And she was like, oh. So it was like he's like, so now I don't say anything because every time I say something, she says it's a reaction. She said, so then I noticed he would be like, I hate this class. I hate this, different things like that. So I reached out to the assistant principal because at that time, the assistant principal was before the principal, before we would reach out to them for parent interactions and whatnot. So I was like, I just don't know what's going on. I talked to other teachers. I talked to that. So she's like, you know what? I'm going to sit through the classroom or whatever it is. And she got the social worker involved. And what it was, he was finishing stuff. It was almost like a clash of personalities where he was finishing stuff early. So she would go through whatever. He was done with it. And she'd be like, are you done? He'd be like, yes. And it would be correct. So then he would do other stuff. She's like, well, then it was like, okay, well, then do this and do that. And it was almost like an anger that she was finishing up stuff. So he was being not punished, but he was being picked on because he was finishing stuff early. So the social worker involved and said, he's bored. He needs to be in another class.
I was going to say, it sounds like he's
bored. He needs to be in another class. And you're getting frustrated because he's going through the work faster and he's not
being challenged.
He's not being challenged. So he's not being disruptive, but he is done. So if he's getting up to throw something away or sharpen his pencil, whatever, he doesn't have anything else to do. So he's not wrong, but you're upset with that. So they put him in another class. They did a couple tests or whatever. They put him in another class, no issues.
And so then what happened right there is just like I was saying, the school social worker advocates for the students and the parents within the school system.
Yes.
So we're there and we listen to both sides and we stay objective and we say to the teacher, well, what about if you try this? Or what about if you try that? And we listen to her, well, he's doing this. And then we listen to the parents.
Yes.
And we listen to the student. Right.
Okay.
So Bryce, what's happening in class?
Yeah.
You know?
In that, when she sat down and was asking him questions, whatever, he was like, you know, and going through of what it is. And now I don't like this and blah, blah, blah. But she got the full story. And then when I was asking her, it was almost like a defense as well, because I'm like, well, tell me. And I wasn't saying he wasn't doing it, but I was just, give me more details. Like, what happened when he did that?
Because
she was like,
you know your child.
Exactly. So that was being received as if I was questioning her, which I was questioning, but not saying that, you know, he was automatically correct. But even the question of it raised a flag where she was on the defense, and then it was like, I'm being difficult as well. So you're right. We couldn't get anywhere because the defenses are up. I'm like, I don't really understand what's happening because you're not giving me enough information to make to figure out what's happening here. But she was able to talk to them, talk to me, and talk to Bryce, and then piece together something that
And then
works.
we have to realize too, I don't know how large this class was, right? But a lot of times, like say a kindergarten class. Now we're seeing, there used to be, I'm saying we seeing like I'm still in school. I've been retired now for 2.5 years. But before I retired, we saw classroom sizes in kindergarten up to like 28 kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of
And so you have 28 kids
Different
and
personalities.
different personalities and different levels of learning.
Yes.
Right? And so then you have the one teacher, and there might be an aide that comes in, and there might not be an aide in that class. So you have the teacher there, and that teacher is responsible for teaching that kid to get that kid by the end of kindergarten, at least up to short vowel reading,
Mhm.
right? Writing, making sure that they know their alphabet, their name, right? And then the rules of the school. There's
Right.
so much that teacher
At that.
at that
Especially
age.
at that level, because there's such a mix. There's
It
some
is.
kids that may have been at daycare that had some type of organized, had been in school
School
some
for a
type
while.
of a setting that was organized. Some students may have had learning at home, so they might be a little more advanced. Some students, it's their
They
first time
coming
there.
straight out the gate,
So
And they don't have-
everybody's
and they
all
don't have
over.
any training.
Yes.
Can I raise my hand right here, please? Please let me raise my hand.
Yes.
Can we go back to teaching our children their alphabet before they come to school? Can we go back
Oh, wow.
to teaching our kids colors before they come to school
Mhm.
for kindergarten? Can we go back to reading to our kids before they come to school, where they're used to seeing a book or knowing what a book is?
Yes.
And can we, and y'all gonna laugh, but this isn't funny, this is really serious. Can we potty train our children before they come to kindergarten?
Yes.
Because there's no resources in the school for a typical kid to
Mhm.
services for them to go to the bathroom.
Right.
The teacher can't take the kid to the bathroom. The teacher can't change a
Right,
pull-up.
right.
The teacher can't change
Nor
a
should they
diaper.
have to at that
Yeah.
point.
Well, we were just laughing about that. We're having a diaper drive.
Yes.
And I was like, I've never seen size 7 diapers. And Alita was just saying, Monique, kids are not potty trained now. And so they're
It's like a
making them
choice.
bigger
Like,
and
oh, I don't
bigger.
want to pressure them. I don't want to do. So I'm
Yeah.
like, no.
So I hear what you're saying
Mhm.
about.
And you know that now that there's rules in place saying you can't come here until you are potty trained, it's now enforced. So now people are doing it so that their kids can go to preschool or different kindergartens, things like that, because it's a rule.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's always been a rule. You know, if your kids were in daycare,
Yes.
you know,
You pay more
you pay more.
Mhm.
if they're not potty trained.
Mhm.
But we're in a society where convenience, people pay for it. Like,
Throw
okay,
money at it.
like, okay, if that means you handle this one instead of me, cool, go for it.
So then the teachers must receive you well too, if you're that
Mhm.
advocate for everybody.
Yes, so it's also important as a school social worker to establish a great relationship with the teachers,
Yeah.
Mhm.
with your principal,
Okay.
and the parents,
Mhm.
and the reason why you're there for the students.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have to know that they can trust you
Mhm.
and that you're available to them. Because it happens a lot of times, not only is the school social worker there for the students, we're also there for the teachers.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. That
Mhm.
must be, you must have to develop that relationship.
You
too.
have to develop that relationship. Those interpersonal relationships with the teachers and the relationship with the kids. If the children don't like you, if you can't establish a
Yeah.
relationship with the kids, then you're not going to
Mhm.
do well in the schools.
So did you have kids that you saw on a regular basis? Or I heard you mention too, like, oh, if we had a deaf in the family, and I came to you and said, Mrs. Dodson-Lewis, we had a deaf, could you watch Junior,
Mhm.
here and there, maybe for a couple of weeks?
Mhm.
I know you do that, but do you have kids on a regular basis?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
'Cause you're retired.
Yes, so the school social worker sees on a regular basis those students who are identified through special education.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's the
We
children
see
that
them.
you see, if you identify a need there.
Right, and then they have social work on their IEPs.
Okay.
They're seen regularly.
Mhm.
Then we also see those students based upon, I'm sure that all of RTR, response to intervention.
Okay.
I'm sorry, then.
Using the acronyms.
Yes.
That's what we
Acronyms.
do. That's what
I'm
we
using
do.
I know.
acronyms.
We
and
do
they
it
not-
in real estate. We use our
And we
acronyms.
sure
We
do.
get it.
And they don't
Yes.
come to you as easy
Yes,
when you
right,
when you get
because-
removed from the
Oh,
system.
yeah.
Yeah.
So through our RTI situation, our 3-tiered intervention system
Mhm.
for those kids who are in regular ed that need additional supports, and they're identified and they go through the system. And so then they might go through a 6-week process. So that means that 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how the intervention goes,
Mhm.
then they might not see you again, but you'll see them for that amount of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know Christopher and Kyle both had individual education plans, and Christopher was extremely literal. you know, everything you said was just straightforward, right? And so they were teaching him jokes, and he would come home with the taught jokes, and you know, and then say, "This is the answer," you know. We would laugh because it would be so funny.
You know, those are my favorite ones.
Yes.
That would be the goal, to tell a joke, to be able to tell a joke,
Yes.
and know that and hear a joke and know that the joke
That's
is
just
funny.
funny. Yes,
not like-
yes. And so that was part of his part, because he did have social work,
Mhm.
intervention. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was part of what they did. So it is not necessarily always what I'm saying is serious. I mean, he needed to learn.
And so that's what we
Other
call
things.
social emotional learning.
Okay. Okay.
So he had an IEP
Mhm.
to increase his social emotional learning, to not know, to tell the difference between what is fun, what is literal and not literal. To be able
Okay.
to tell when people are
Yes.
telling a funny and not,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And not to be so serious.
Right.
Right. And so that was one of the things that I said, in the role of the social worker.
Yeah.
One of the things that they do, the barriers to learning. Being literal is a barrier to learning.
Yes. Yes.
Right? It's some social emotional learning.
Okay.
Right. Because they used to tell me I couldn't be so sarcastic because I'm very sarcastic. And it's like,
No.
he doesn't get it. You know, right? He's thinking you're very
Yes.
literal. So that was a help to me too, right? Then I see what you mean, advocating and telling the parents too, kind of how to relate if there is a special need.
And then when I say advocate, it's very important for parents to come to the school and advocate for their students or on their student behalf, because nobody knows your student, your child, better than you.
So
Yeah.
we have a running joke in our household, because my kids were they're only a year and a half apart. So Bryce would have a teacher, and then they rarely got the same teacher, but they'd be in the same grade, year after year. So when Bryce graduated or he left middle school and went to elementary and went to middle school, and T was like, "Oh, they probably like one Anderson down, one to go." He was like, "Yes, they got it out of here. She's not gonna be back." Because I would question. I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, like what is wrong with her?" But a lot of times it was just what you said, is that teachers were surprised to see you show up.
Yes.
And to ask questions,
Yes.
and to be like, okay, so how does this relate to this? Or they said this happened today. Can you explain? Because they come home and tell, and sometimes it would be lighthearted. They would say, and I'd be like, wait, what happened in school today? For instance, this is kind of bad, but this one year, they were probably second and third grade. And they came home and said, there was another family that had brothers that were, the one brother was in Bryce's grade, the other brother was in Kennedy's grade. And Kennedy said, "Oh, today after lunch, the little boy, I won't say his name, the little boy said that tomorrow he's going to kill me and Bryce." And I said, "Wait, what? What do you mean?"
Not good.
I said, what were y'all doing? And so she was like, "Oh, he didn't like it that they were playing softball or they were playing kickball and he lost and blah, blah, blah." He said, "Tomorrow he's going to win and we're going to be dead." And then she just kept eating. And I was like, "Wait a minute. Let me ask some more questions." And so I asked a couple more questions. And so I reached out to the teacher and I'm like,
Very good.
I don't want to make a big deal out of
It's a
something.
big deal.
But in case it is a big deal, I also don't want to be like, I didn't say anything. So
Mhm.
let me walk through what that, like, and so she was like, "Oh my goodness, like, let me find out." So they separated the kids the next day. They called their parents in, they called us in, they were talking to them. And what they came to find out about it, they had an older sibling, and the older sibling had recently been arrested for something similar where the person didn't die, but they'd been attacked.
Oh.
And he was like, "I'm going to do this." So it was kind of
It
a
was
thing.
coming out through the.
It was coming out through that. So they got on a list or whatever else. But it was one of those things where it's like, okay,
Oh, that's
yeah.
scary.
So, you catch it, but it's also, like you said, being involved in listening and being like, okay. And I even said that. I was like, they could have been talking about a video game or something they saw.
Right.
She took it out of context. I don't know. I said, but I just wanted to figure out what's happening because this is disturbing. And they understood that. But had I not said anything, then what? Does it go to something else?
Or if you hadn't had the conversation with your daughter
Yeah.
about what happened at school today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just
Just
that
that
simple.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not happening. We're not asking
Yeah.
what happened at school today. I remember in school, the last district I was in, I was in the kindergarten wing.
Mhm.
So I was right next door to the kindergarten teacher, and I'd go in the kids' backpack, it would be just a month worth of papers that the teacher had sent home,
Never taken out.
never taken out. So then you wonder if these papers are here, is there a conversation being had about what happened at school today?
Right.
How was school today?
Right.
Tell me what happened at school today.
Right.
As we're counting pinto beans in kindergarten.
Right.
Get those beans over there. Let's put them in this plastic cup here. Doesn't take a lot, parents.
No.
These are all things you have in the house. It doesn't even have to be a plastic cup.
No.
It could just be a glass.
Well, on the table.
Right.
Mhm.
And I say pinto beans, it could be whatever kind of beans you have. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be beans. Anything that you have is small. Here, can you take these? Could you put the red ones over here? Could you put the green ones over here? And put the blue ones in the cup?
Mhm.
Now you're giving direction.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? While you in there cooking. Because a lot of times we say we don't have time because I have to cook. Go over there. We're going to put on Miss Lucy. She going on YouTube, on the tablet. We're going to put on Miss Lucy. And then, you watch Miss Lucy while mama cook.
Mhm.
You can put them right there on the floor. Right there on the floor.
Yep.
3 pots, some bowls, and there you go.
Mhm.
And ask them, what did you do in school today?
Yeah. Yeah.
And listen to them.
Yeah.
And even though the story or whatever they're telling you might not sound correct, listen to them, validate them in their story.
Mhm.
And then those things that bring red flags to you, please call the school.
Mhm.
Please talk to the teacher. And ask. Don't necessarily be accusatory.
Right.
Ask.
Yes. Mhm. And that, yeah, because sometimes it's just a matter of clarification.
Clarification.
And then they're like, because Kennedy's a senior this year, and she's like, "Why are you still going to parent teacher conference?"
Absolutely.
And you'd be like, "Why do you keep coming to
Absolutely.
this school?" I'm like, "Because they need to know that you have a mother.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They know your parent is going to come up here and will."
And if that's your nature to do that,
Mhm.
I remember in Christopher's junior year, I went to a parent teacher and she was like, "Miss Fisher, why are you here?" I said, "Excuse me?" Because it's parent teacher time. I signed up. What? I'm walking around, walking his classes. She was like, Christopher's fine. Christopher doesn't bother us. No, I don't know that. That's why I'm here.
Mhm.
But that was awakening to me that parents, she was like, "Miss Fisher, a lot of parents don't even come."
The
No.
parents do not come.
Mm-mm.
Please, I know it's the middle of the school year. We're about to go on spring break. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm not about to go on spring break.
You on break.
You're a permanent
I'm
spring
on-
break.
I'm breaking constantly.
But for those that you left behind
For
in the school
those
district,
who
the
are
teachers
left
and the
behind.
social workers.
I'm saying this for those kids whose parents are, getting ready to go on spring break and things of that nature. When we come back from spring break, it's going to be time for another parent-teachers conference.
Mhm.
Please go to the parent-teachers conference. Please hear what it is that your students' teachers have to say about your students. Everything isn't bad. Everything
Mhm.
isn't good.
Mhm.
But you should have a rapport with the teacher so that they know that they can call Johnny's mother.
And it's just good to know how they are perceived
Mhm.
in the in the school.
Exactly.
Yes,
And
it
I
is.
know that some of the barriers to that is sometimes the parents have had a bad experience in school themselves
Mhm. Yes.
and they don't want anything to
They
do
don't
with the
want to do
school.
Yes, honey.
Right.
I was at that grammar school for 10 years. 10 years straight. I was like, "Lord, when does it end?" And I know they felt the same way about me.
Oh yeah. I'm like, "Hey y'all, it's
But
me."
yeah, so no, you do, but you still have to be that advocate.
You have to advocate for your kids. Go to the school, introduce yourself to their teachers, right? Hey, a novel idea, volunteer. Hey,
Yeah.
Girl, I ain't got no time to be volunteering.
Oh, yes, you do.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I ain't got no
was
time.
I
I got
was the
some.
Halloween, the Christmas, I was in all the rooms. I was like, "Oh, we don't have no more parties." They'll be like, "Mom, really?" Like, really?
right, volunteer, be a member of the PTO or PTA. I think it's
Mhm.
the Parent Teachers Association now. But just make yourself known. Let them know that you are here, my child is here,
Mhm.
and I am here to see that my student or my child does the best they can in school.
It does make a difference because I remember being in, I don't know, the classroom for something, a Christmas party, Halloween party, something. And people were, there was a couple of the parents that volunteered, and the teacher was just talking. And I'm like, oh, it was one of our neighbors. I'm like, where are they at? And he was like, they don't hardly come to school. She was like, I don't know when they come. She's like, who knows? She's like, I don't see them anytime. And I'm like, okay, that's an odd response. But if you're thinking that, and you're sharing it with me, then how's that student being treated?
Yeah.
What is doing that? So you know that it comes off at a different for them.
Or it's the teacher's frustration
Yeah.
that this student isn't coming to
Yes.
school.
Right.
And you just happen to ask at that time.
Mhm.
And she's just saying, he never comes to school. I don't know. You see him? When you see him, can you tell him to come to school?
I'm like,
Because that's a big
Okay.
portion too, because she's invested in that student.
mhm.
You know, she wants to make sure that, you know, I'm not trying to take up for the teacher, but I'm just saying
it's
that
just,
that-
how can I teach you if you're not here?
if you're not here,
That makes perfect sense.
and then you're, you know, I'm responsible to teach you so much this year.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
And I didn't realize how many students or how many families, I guess, it's like school is optional.
Mhm.
And like they have, for instance, we used to have half days. They have a set timer for half days. And I'd be like, okay, half day. No, but we don't have to go to school. It's a half day. I'm like, you do have to go to school because
Yes,
it's a
you
half
do.
a day.
Mhm.
I don't care if it's 30 minutes of learning. I don't care if it's 4 hours or 6 hours. There you going. She's like, nobody goes to school in a half day. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yes, they do.
And then I started looking
Go
at
to
it and I'm
school on
like,
half days.
It is
Mhm.
like a huge population of kids that just don't go on half days. Either, I don't know why, but it was a big thing for our area, the half day.
But that's like taking kids out for vacation. I'd never heard of that. Growing up like that, you got school. What you mean? No, we ain't going nowhere.
Now I've done that.
I mean, they would take kids out. I mean, for a
Okay.
week.
So I want to say this. I'm saying go.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm saying
Not
go
a
to
week.
school.
Okay.
I'm saying go to school on a half day, but I feel a little hypocritical because I know it's plenty of days. I said, Sonia, oh, you got a half day. Oh yeah, let's just you don't have to go today, Sonia. It wouldn't be a lot. It wouldn't be a lot.
Don't say that.
But every
no,
now and then.
Yeah. Now for the
you're like-
vacation piece, I will take them out of school for vacation.
Okay,
But-
so when you take them out of school for vacation, are you getting any classwork or anything?
Yes,
so that
I let
you
them
do
know
it?
they're going to be gone.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm like, hey, they're going to
Okay.
be gone X, Y, and Z. And I've asked like while I'm planning, like we did one around Christmas. And I'm like, hey, are they going to have any test risks? Because I was trying to decide like if they were going to leave, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday or whatever
Right.
it was. I'm
No.
like, hey, what is it looking like? I'm thinking about doing, pulling them out to go to these dates. Was just like, oh no, we're going to have a test. Or they can take the test early and we're really just going to be doing this. They're not going to miss that much. Or they'll miss these things, just have them do this, whatever. So it was never like they didn't know.
No, I'm
But-
talking about people who just let their kids just go. I mean, they just
No.
Yeah.
and people do that.
Yes.
That
And
sounds
we're not-
rare to me.
And we're not talking about Christmas and,
Right, and I'm not talking about
Thanksgiving
Christmas and
or
Thanksgiving.
Easter or spring break. I'm gonna take them
Right.
out early
Yeah.
for
I'm
spring
talking
break.
about a Tuesday through Friday in February.
Yes.
What is going on in February
Yes.
that you got to be on vacation? But we
Yes.
going somewhere warm because it's cold here. That's what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen that happen too.
So sure, okay. So I hear you saying the number one thing is to advocate for your child as a parent.
Yes.
What else would you tell parents to do?
Be present. Be present at home. Be present at school.
Mhm.
Listen to your student, your child. Validate them in what they say, and check it out. Just like you said you did, Alita, because that was very concerning. Be careful what you say around your kids, because your kids will repeat what you said, just like that student
Yes.
repeated what had just happened in their home.
I know.
And I understand that we can't shield
Right.
Right.
our kids from a lot
Well, we
of
can
things.
tame the cursing. We
Yes.
can tame.
Mhm.
It's certain things we can do.
Exactly. Let children know that your kids know that school is important. I think somewhere we have missed that. I know that I think we were talking about like Dr. Ben Carson. Now
Mhm.
his mother couldn't read,
Mhm.
but she made sure he
He
could
could
read.
read.
Yeah.
And he
Yes.
had no idea that she couldn't read.
Mm-hmm.
And then when your kids that's like one generation removed from the civil rights movement, education was really important.
Yeah.
Yes.
And somehow as a community, we have lost that. Education is like, you don't really need an education, because look at, what's the guy from Facebook?
Oh, Zuckerberg.
Yeah, and somebody else, they made all that money.
Yeah, but they was at the college level.
Well, I'm just saying, they made all that money and they didn't need school. So school has lost some points. Oh, and now with social media,
Content creators.
Content creators, you don't need education. You just have to know how to work your phone. School is important. Education is important.
Mhm.
Education is the only thing that is going to change your circumstances.
That's true.
That's true.
That's very true.
I remember when Chris did not want to go to middle school. It just stressed him to the max. And he was like, I'm just not going to go. And I was like, no, you're going to go. He's like, no, I'm not. I said, okay, there's something called truancy. I said, and they will check because they know you exist because you was in
Did it just disappear? Like, where'd he go?
I said, and then they're going to come arrest your father because they're going to say you didn't send him to school. They're going to take Dad. I said, "They're gonna take Dad." He couldn't have cared about me. Christopher, I love you. I said, they go get your dad. And he was like, oh, yeah, I got to go to school. It's important. I said, yes, you do. And I got the literal on my side.
Right.
So he went, but I ended up taking him every day. That was the compromise. He didn't want to get on the bus. He was definitely afraid of that. So
but I'm glad
was a compromise.
that you had that conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that you found that
and that's
compromise.
really what it was.
Yep.
And
Yes.
that's what
He was scared of getting on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying. We have to have a conversation with our kid. And so you validated Chris in like, you don't want to go to school.
Right.
Why don't you want to go to school? And then how can I make this be a thing that you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And so you came to a compromise that worked for him.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't listen to our kids and it's like, you're going to go. But there's a reason why they're telling you they don't want to go to
Right.
school.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to find that and listen to them about what.
And I had to change my whole work schedule and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Get, buy-in from my supervisor that I would be in late or I would work the first 4 hours from home or whatever, what it was at that time. Because, I had to make sure he was okay, so.
And I like sharing with them too, because I know they'll come home. Well, now Kennedy because Bryce is out, but they'll be like, oh, my whatever teacher is just she's the worst. Like, and I'm like, well, what happened? So I'm like, think about this. That lady has how many people in your class? So let's say it's 18 people in your class. So she got 6 hours a day, 18 of you all going through, teaching the same thing, going through with all you having these little bad attitudes like yours. So by the time you got to her at 11:45 or 1 o'clock, she was probably tired of you all.
Yeah.
And just do your work and do it. And so she'll be like, but Mom, I'm like, no, just do the work. Like you don't have to be personal friends with her, but you do have to be respectful and you have to do it. She's like, okay. And then his famous thing is, all you gotta do, you probably never gonna see these people again. You just go through, do what you need to do and be done with it. You look back on it, you don't have to ever see them again. He's like, but if you flunk, you're gonna be right back there next year. So do good while you're there.
Thank you for saying be respectful.
Oh yeah. That's
sure. Because
that's
you see so much disrespect.
Yes.
Towards teachers and school staff and employees in the school.
Yeah.
Call my mama.
Yeah. On my mama. I saw a skit where the teachers acted like the children.
Yes.
And they put on the pajamas, pants hanging, and they was walking through, and one of the teachers just stood there and said, on my mama. Don't you talk to me today, on my mama. I was like, do the kids say that?
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes. Okay, so my favorite show right now is Abbott Elementary.
Oh gosh,
my
yes.
Okay,
God,
so
yes.
I know because I relate. And that one episode when they sent the little boy home for school,
And she
and
brought him
she
back.
said, I ain't the one or the two. Oh my gosh. I laughed. They thought something was wrong with me.
Yes.
That was so real. I don't know who they have writing, but they have lived in the school system. That's the kind of stuff you see. You don't send them back.
Now, see, I'm thinking that's TV stuff.
No, it shocks me.
That's the arts really imitating life.
Yes.
Oh,
Because sometimes I'll be like, wait, what happened? I'm like, well, how do they do that? And they'll be like, Mom, they don't care. I'm like, well, how would they say that? And just we're going to be like, She don't care about any of that. What are you talking
Mm-mm.
about?
Oh my goodness.
Call my mother. I'm not scared of her. And I was
And
like,
I had the opposite. One year we went for, it was a open house. You know, in the meeting you do the tour of the school and they talk to their teachers. And I'm like, yeah. And if he gives you any questions, you call me or text me and let me know, whatever else. And so Bryce was like, thanks. Because every time I'm like doing something or I'm on my phone or anything like that, he's like, do you want me to reach out to your mom? Because she told me to call her. I have her number right here. He's like, that is so embarrassing. I'm like, why are you on your phone? Because you're not supposed to be on your phone. So if you just wouldn't do stuff, he was like, that is just embarrassing. Now he just keeps saying it. Because your mom told me to text her. I have her number right here. She just keeps saying it over and over again.
and I don't know, because like, you know, we taught our kids to respect their teachers and stuff. Not that they're right, you know, but do what they ask you to do.
What they
and then if
ask.
they're asking you to do something wrong, come home and tell your parents.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
We had expectations for our kids.
Yes, we
Yes.
And so we taught them those expectations.
Mhm.
That's the same thing we do in school. We try to teach the kids the expectations of the school and of the world around.
Mhm.
So we taught them the expectations, and our kids didn't want to disappoint us.
Right.
I remember one time Sonia got in the mail. I have two kids. I know I only talk about Sonia, but my kids are 9 years apart, and so some of my friends call my oldest son the phantom child. Because they never see
We
it.
love you, LG.
We love you. But Sonia got this, and I still have it plastered up on my cork board in my kitchen, and it was from her school. She had gotten at that time a character counts thing, saying that she had done
character.
something. Yeah. And she came in. I was like, Sonia, we got something home from school. They sent a letter home from school. And she cried. She was on the floor. She was rolling. She thought she was in trouble.
But she didn't do anything.
It didn't matter. The
She
school
said
had
just the
come.
thought.
The
Okay.
thought of the school, you know, and she didn't want to disappoint her parents.
Yes.
And the fact that she had been taught to
Mhm.
respect what the teachers
Mhm.
want for her and do what, you know, as she's told to do. And just to, you know, to tell her that it was a character counts thing. So yeah.
Aw.
But we don't get
But
that
we don't
anymore.
get that anymore.
And that's what I'm saying all that to
Yes.
say now.
Yes, now. I know Kyle had taken a test. I had gotten a note saying your child refused to take a test. So when he got home, I said, Kyle, why are you refusing to take a test? He said, Mama, I took the test. She lost the test. I don't know where the test is. She said, he said, I saw my grade. He said, I got a B. I did good. I'm not taking that test again. So I was like, okay, that's not how the note came to me.
Right,
It was like
right.
Kyle refuses to take a test. So when I go up there and I ask, she was like, yeah, he said he take, but I don't have it recorded in my book. And I don't have it. I said, well, he said he took it, he saw it, and he got a B. I said, so I don't know. I believe him. So I don't know what's going on with you. Well, let me look. Oh my God, here it is. I said, with the B on it. I said, don't do that anymore. Don't send me letters like that anymore. If he said he did it, you should have investigated it, you know. So he was very respectful to her. He just told her, I'm not taking it again. I'm going home and tell my mom I'm not taking it. But, you know, so you're right. You teach them to be respectful and bring it home and let me deal with it.
Exactly.
Don't you get out of pocket.
Yes.
That's not necessary.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Cheryl, we have enjoyed you.
Yes.
I'm talking to you
shared
about
a lot of good tips for us.
Yeah, and I hope some of you moms who are out there, you know, and we know life be life, and as they say, and there's a lot
Yes.
going on.
Mhm.
But to know that a social worker is a resource to you too, and your child.
Yes,
But it comes first from you being an advocate for your own child,
absolutely.
and that's the most important thing, right? And that's why we call this gracefully advocating. So, last words from you, Miss Dodson-Lewis.
Yes, please be present at school for your children. Go to parent-teachers conferences. Introduce yourself at the beginning of the school year to your child's teacher. See what it is that you could do around the school, to volunteer, to see, just to be present. Because I know that we don't think as parents that it's important, but it is. Our kids really like to see us involved in school and come up there more than just to bring them a Happy Meal because they forgot their lunch. So just come and be present. Oh, one more thing. Please ask them about their day at school.
Yeah.
Ask about it. every day. And I don't care if they're in preschool or high school. Ask them how was school today? What happened in school? What did they learn today? Did they learn something different? How did they contribute? What is one important thing you took from school today? That's
I
it.
like that.
That's it. We love it.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you. And so I'm going to flip it on you, Alita. Where can they find us?
Oh, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you have any questions after you watch this episode, let's say something we didn't touch on, but you want the opinion of not Monique or I, because
Yes.
we don't have any professional opinions.
Yeah. We don't have the masters.
No, we do not. So we can definitely get those questions over to Sherill. She'll get the answers on over to you. So just, put it in the comments or DMs and we'll be happy to share. So until next time, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.